Here with Andrew Kellett, Senior Analyst, Ovum Research. Andy, tell us how you've experienced the show so far. How's it going for you?
The show's been fascinating this year. I came in with a few thoughts about what would be the issues and what would be the takeaways from this event. I guess I also had some doubts as to where the security industry was going, especially with a lot of the mixed messages that have come out this year. But plenty to write about and plenty of thoughts to take away.
Well, since you mentioned it, what are some of those mixed messages that you were concerned about?
Okay, so if you look at the approach of the security industry over recent times, it's all been about layered defences and the ability to keep organisations safe. But since some of the advanced persistent threats during the last 12 months or so, the message seems to have changed to everyone can expect to be breached. And if you haven't been breached already, either means you just haven't spotted it yet, or you need to improve your security to make sure that you can deal with it when it comes along.
You did a keynote here on APT, or at least the focus was on APT. How did that session go for you? What were some of the topics that came up?
It was a very busy session, lots of questions from the audience, and the issues seemed to be around how do we deal with these threats? Can we be expected to deal with these threats? After all, if some of the very high-profile companies who have been breached during the last 12 months have suffered, what's the opportunity for the ordinary business guys? And there was a genuine interest in the things that can be done to improve the risk profile of the business and how to take that forward.
Are you one of those that agrees that if you have some sort of valuable intellectual property or information that you have been breached or you will soon be?
It seems to be a sort of mixed message type approach in terms of what does the security industry expect to get back from this. If we're looking at the next generation of security solutions and people are telling us that we should be looking at making use of big data, we should be introducing the use of intelligence and analytics, then one of the big questions is, should we still be talking to the same people who potentially have not stopped these attacks getting through, and how do we trust them going forward?
If we can shift gears a little bit for a moment, one of the big themes here this week has been BYOD, whether it's technology, policy. Do you think that the threats are real, or are they perhaps a bit overhyped?
I think it's been a very high-profile label as bring your own device. I think probably there's been more talk about it than it deserves. If you look at organisations, I think they fall into three categories. There's the category of organisation that's effectively saying, it's already happened, guys, get on with it, you've got to support it, and we're running with it. There are organisations who say, yeah, bring your own device is okay, as long as we select the platforms and as long as we retain control. And there are a third group, and some quite significant financial services organisations probably fall into this category of, we'll get the security right first, we'll get the control in place, and then we'll consider bring your own device.
Is there ever a case where BYOD is just an absolute no?
I think for the moment there are certainly organisations where it's an absolute no, and those are the ones who are in the high compliance areas, ones that cannot afford to let their security slip, and they will take time. I think bring your own device will come into most organisations to some extent over time, but I think the message is being a little bit overhyped at the moment. What I would like to see is organisations who've already got their own mobile devices that they've provided to their users, getting out there and sorting the security side of that out, and then coming at bring your own device from a position of strength.
And have you been around the show floor and taking in any of the other educational program? Was there something you were hoping to gain from being here this week?
It's a combination of talking to the security vendors, looking out for folks that maybe I've not come across, people who have new initiatives that I've not looked at before, As usual, it's a very busy show, and I guess we're getting to the end of it now, so it's sort of running out of time.
Yeah. Are you come here every year?
I've been coming to this probably for about the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So going to the event when it was over the road, and now here.
Do you find it worthwhile to come year after year? Is there new things to be learned?
I think there are always new things to learn. The security industry never stands still, is never likely to, because let's face it, the guys who are out there writing the malware never sleep, I suppose is a good way of putting it.
Well, Andy, I'd like to thank you for taking the time, stop by for a few minutes and chat with us.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, Drew.